So Watch Dogs Legion has finally been announced at E3 2019 during Ubisoft's press briefing, and I sure do have some thoughts for you on this one. Now, it seems to be a little bit of a contrast between the tone of Watch Dogs 1 and the tone of Watch Dogs 2, so it's got that funny self-aware side that Watch Dogs 2 tried to have, alongside a darker tone that the first Watch Dogs game had. And if you don't know what the funny self-aware side to this game is, well, in the demo you play as a granny massacring people. Alzheimer's is a fucking lie! And I mean, a lot of games go for this self-aware tone and not many of them actually pull it off. And there's something slightly different about this one. It feels like it's more subtle, it's not so forced feeling as this demo shows us. Who knows what the actual game will be like, but who knows. Anyways, back to my point, Watch Dogs Legion has been announced now, and it is what the rumours stated. You play as any NPC essentially, and if the character you're playing as dies, then that is a permadeath. They will not come back, you will have to play as somebody else, and I died a lot in the other Watch Dogs games, so this could be a bit of a hit and miss one for me because I won't be able to get invested in any one character. So without investment in one protagonist, it is quite a worrying concept, to be fair, because I think that Watch Dogs needs to have a core story that is unchangeable in order to thrive around it, as it strikes me as a narrative experience. At the same time, Watch Dogs is a young franchise, they're still trying to figure out what works for it, so I'm more than willing to give this a go. Though with the premise of being able to play as whoever you like in a dystopian fantasy essentially, this could lead to a lot of opportunities for people's playstyles to vary greatly. But who knows what will happen on that one. Another thing that we actually got during this reveal was the release date, which is actually going to be in March of 2020. So honestly, I wouldn't expect to hear more from this game for quite a while, because nearly a year is a lot of time to fill marketing into, and you don't want to overdo it or you'll build expectations beyond the reality. Something that Ubisoft has done in the past, and hopefully they've learned from it. But a 2020 release date, I'm not mad at that, okay? I think that's fine. Take as much time on this game as you want, because I'm in no rush to play it particularly. It looks fine, it looks like Watch Dogs, but take all that time to make the game as good as it can possibly be. Anyways, moving on to how London looks in this game. I think it actually looks pretty nice, graphically speaking anyways. Kinda looks a bit like how Watch Dogs should have looked, considering how it was marketed before it got downgraded. Obviously it's a bit futuristic-esque because it is set in the future, the near future, but still it's a bit dystopian, so they have to change it up so it looks a little bit unrecognisable in some parts at least, but it still looks a lot like London. Now, my biggest problem with it isn't actually the aesthetic of it. Aesthetically, this game does look fine. However, the acting...
You're clear. Sod off.
Impressive skill set.
Sure, but we need a drone expert, Raj, not a shit kicker. File that one away for later.
Mercenaries patrolling the
You,
street.
get the fuck over here.
Me? I ain't done nothing.
Come on, you shifty prick. Hurry up.
Well now.
Jimmy Shaw. No formal engineering training, but he has several mischief charges for hijacking Albion drone.
Besides from that AI, the accents are a bit over-the-top stereotypical Cockney, and it can sort of take you out of the immersion there. It feels like a bit of a stereotypical accent as opposed to an actual accent. And it's a shame because the rest of the game actually does look pretty cool, and I reckon it could be a game that you could invest yourself in, because you could literally be anything. For how long is a different question, and without one solid protagonist there's only so much that can be done as far as a narrative is concerned, and there is no antagonist focus here, so it could be a bit worrying that. But on the whole, there's plenty in this Watch Dogs Legion trailer that makes me think that it could be a pretty good game. It's still the same engine as Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2 at its core, so I'm not really sure if it's going to change enough, but we'll see. The core engine of Watch Dogs has never been a big issue after all. Another thing that looks cool in the gameplay is the hand-to-hand combat in it. It looks a little bit more advanced to the point where it feels like an actual gameplay feature as opposed to just automated animations. And that could create for some more engaging gameplay, of which Watch Dogs definitely could do with. I mean, running around doing parkour, hacking and doing automated fights is fair enough, but changing it up a bit to make it a bit more involving is definitely a good thing. I also don't know what the significance of this man in the pig mask is. Why is that the cover art? It's not the end of the world, but it just makes me think that the game's gonna not take itself seriously. Moving on, obviously this game's gonna have driving in it. Hopefully the driving mechanics are better than they have been in previous Watch Dogs games. However, by the looks of it, it looks pretty similar, so it's only a minor point anyways. and there are only so many ways to do driving mechanics in games, so it's not a big thing. Another thing I'd like to find out about is how you actually choose which NPCs you play as, because they haven't really gotten into that. Do you recruit them? Do you hack like some chip in their brain or something? Why is Grandma a serial killer? Simple questions, you know? Another thing I've noticed is you've got Bagley, this AI that should be helpful in theory. Maybe Bagley's the protagonist, who knows? But that name is incredible. Bagley. I also wonder how extreme this dystopian future is in Watch Dogs Legion. Obviously it's a bit more of a war zone than it actually is at the moment, but how much more is the question? I guess we'll find out later on. But who knows, I kind of want to find out more, especially about how the game expects to work. Now this is only alpha gameplay footage, a lot of it could change before release. We've got a long time until March of 2020, but to answer the question, do I like it or do I not, I honestly don't know. Parts of me likes the look of it, another part of me is a bit concerned about how this NPC system is really going to work. London looks beautiful, gameplay wise it looks like Watch Dogs, and I guess we'll have to wait and find out more soon, hopefully. But anyways, thank you all for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff, and I'll see you all very soon with another video at some point.